Hey, this is JR, aka The Tourist, and I'm at the Hyatt Regency in Bali, in Sanur. Stay with me a few moments, and I'll show you around what so far has been one of my favorite properties in Bali. The best way to describe Hyatt Regency Bali is to say it punches above its weight. In some aspects, it's another big box resort on an island with plenty of big box resorts. But Hyatt Regency manages to master the form. Maybe it's in the DNA. There's been a Hyatt on this property for 50 years. Long enough to get a few things right. But as good as the Hyatt Regency is, do temper your expectations. Even with very good properties, you still get what you pay for. But maybe in this case, you get a little bit more. Join me for a few minutes and we'll talk about it. The Hyatt Regency sits toward the southern end of Sanur, on the southeast coast of Bali. Sanur is a small, sleepiest village that has earned the nickname Snore. It's somewhat of a misnomer, as Sanur is far from deserted. Plenty of foreigners call Sanur home. They just happen to be more expat families and retirees than tourists. The large open-air lobby introduces guests to the resort's design aesthetic, a generic tropical modernism that is also fully Balinese, done in a way that doesn't feel kitschy. My arrival was smooth and check-in painless. Hyatt acquired this land in the late 1960s and opened the Bali Hyatt in 1973. This was among the first internationally branded resorts on the island. Over the years, this Hyatt has been the canvas of a number of famous architects and designers. A list of luminaries including Australians Peter Muller and Kerry Hill, who were part of the original team, the Sri Lankan Geoffrey Bala, who designed the interiors, and both Made Wijaya and Bill Bensley, who added their touch to the landscapes in the 1980s. I can get a little wrapped up in the design story of a particular property. I like to be in well-designed spaces, and so the aesthetics of a place matter to me. If you're the same way, consider subscribing to the channel. I post hotel impressions, destination guides, and more. And I'm just getting started. Join me, and we'll tour the world together. Hyatt Regency is one of the 29 brands under the Hyatt umbrella. It's a premium, 5-star brand on par with Marriott's, Sheraton's, and Hilton's. Hyatt Regency tends to specialize in convention and conference properties, although I didn't notice any large meeting or events here. It was mostly families. This iteration of the resort opened in 2018 after a 5-year renovation. The original 1970s design does make for an odd layout, but one that emphasizes the lush landscaping. The bones of the resort reflect when the original resort was opened. The guest rooms are housed in 3 square, brutalist-inspired blocks, all with a central courtyard. I'm in the first building, Hibiscus. I booked a king bedroom, which is the entry-level room category. Welcome to room 1320. The room is small, but well laid out and quite comfortable. I'm here by myself, and the amount of space is fine. If you're a family of 3 or more, opt for one of the larger room categories. The minibar is stocked with the basics, and there's chargeable beer and soft drinks in the fridge. The bathroom facilities are split, with sinks and shower here and the water closet up near the front door. There is a balcony with a day bed and a small table. Just got to the room. It's a cozy room. You wouldn't call it a big room, but it's cozy. There's definitely enough space for me. I think a single person, a couple, even a couple with a small child would be fine in here. I think for the price point, this room makes sense. Everything is new and clean, and it's a good looking room. A little bit of an odd layout with the bathroom up toward the front, or sorry, rather the water closet, the toilet and the sink up towards the front of the room, and the rest of the bathroom over there. Other than that, really no complaints about the room. I'll be in Sanur for a couple of days, spending some time here at the Grand Hyatt and also at the hotel next door, the Andaz, which is also a Hyatt hotel. So look out for, actually, I'm probably going to publish that hotel impression first before this one. If you're watching this, there's a good chance that the Andaz Bali video is up. I'm going to do a little bit of work and then go check out a happy hour at the pool bar. Oh, that reminds me, I guess one thing about the room is that there's not really a real desk, there's just a table. Although I have managed to use the mini bar as a kind of standing desk setup, so it's not too bad. Again, not something I'm going to harp on. Not everyone is here doing work like I am, so it is what it is. I'll check in later tonight or tomorrow morning and keep you updated as to how my time here at the Grand Hyatt is going. Normally, I show wellness facilities toward the end of my videos, but the spa and gym are an area where the Grand Hyatt outperforms. The Sank Spa is up near the front of the resort. On the map, it shows it's quite close to both the lobby and my building, but I got a little lost finding it. The lush, meandering landscaping gives Hyatt Regency a sprawling quality, something I appreciate given the size of the resort. Other than maybe breakfast, I never felt overwhelmed by the number of guests. There are too many places where it's possible to escape, far from the madding crowd. The spa is characterized by simple, elegant design and immaculate landscaping. However, as I had no treatments here, I cannot speak to the quality of services. Back here there's a pool where you can swim laps under the watchful eye of Ganesh. It's adults only, so there'll be no obstacles in your way, except for maybe some impolite guests. The Sank Spa is a good metaphor for the resort itself. The spa sits between the premium big box Hyatt Regency and the luxury 140-room Andaz, accessible to guests of both. Consequently, it's a nicer facility than you'd expect to find at the level of the Hyatt Regency. One of the ways in which the resort outperforms its category. Of course, for a true luxury property, you'll have to go and see Andaz. Or you could watch the video I filmed there, which is part of my Destinations Bali playlist. As of end 2024, I've got 5 resort impressions, and there's another 5 in the pipeline for early 2025. I had planned on checking out happy hour, which takes place both in the lobby bar and the pizzeria restaurant back by the beach. But I was still running around filming in Sanur at that hour, and I ended up having dinner off property at a night market. So I'm picking back up the next morning. Let's stroll the grounds and have some breakfast. We'll end at the beach and pool area. When I describe the resort as 3 square concrete blocks, vaguely brutalist in construction, you might visualize something Soviet. In reality, it's more like, well, did you ever watch Lost? The Hyatt Regency looks like something the Dharma Initiative might have built. Maybe not the most helpful description, but let me try to be helpful in other ways. Let me talk about whether Hyatt Regency is the right resort for you. Without further ado, I'll give you the tourist do's and don'ts. Do come to Sanur if you're looking for a reprieve from the madness of the Kuta to Canggu corridor, but you also want a little more going on than in Nusa Dua. And If you're looking for a moderately priced big box resort, this is one of the better ones on the island. Also, I recommend the Hyatt Regency for those who care about design and landscaping. On the other hand, don't come to Sanur if you're looking for a younger demographic or for a more idyllic, isolated beach. If big sprawling resorts are not your thing, then you'll probably want to avoid the Hyatt Regency in favor of something smaller with more personalized service. And finally, while Pizzeria, the resort's Italian restaurant, is well regarded in the area, I found the one meal I did eat on property to be rather meh. Speaking of breakfast, that brings us to Omang Omang, the resort's all-day restaurant and where breakfast is served. Perhaps I shouldn't have jumped the gun in putting breakfast in the don't category. If big hotel buffet breakfasts are your thing and you care more about the range of selections than you do about anything being particularly great, this is your place. And I don't mean to be snarky. Sometimes choice is what you're after. However, if you're not a big eater in the morning, consider booking without breakfast included, and instead, walk onto the beach walk and grab a croissant or a cup of coffee from one of the cafes. Speaking of the beach, let's head that way now. Sanur's beach is a mixed bag. The beach walk, which runs just along the backside of the property, is one of Sanur's defining features. I loved having access to so many cafes and restaurants right here. The beach does collect a lot of debris and trash overnight, but hotel staff do a pretty good job cleaning and manicuring the area. Also, in Bali, the beach is community property. Hotels can set up seating areas, but they can't restrict access. Personally, I think this is a good thing, but it does mean you shouldn't come here expecting an isolated stretch of beach. Here's Pizzeria, the Italian restaurant I mentioned earlier. Up on the resort's property, you'll find the main pool area. Again, a pretty nice pool for the category. None of the individual pools are huge, but the layout of the area makes it feel bigger. I shot this footage early in the morning, before the pool had officially opened. It does get plenty of use during the day. We've circled back to the restaurant, as good a place as any to end our look around the Hyatt Regency. Let's head back to the room for a few parting words. Good morning. Well, it's almost afternoon. I'm about to check out. I didn't end up doing too much at the hotel yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. I mostly just worked. I was going to go check out a happy hour at the bar at Pizzeria. That's the one facing the beach. But it started at like 4, and that was too early for me to start drinking. So I just hung out and did some work, and then went out later and shot some stuff for the Sanur video. If that's not already out, keep an eye out for it. Let's see, what can I say? This is a nice property. I mean, look, you get what you pay for. At this point, I've been to quite a few hotels in this price range in Bali, that entry-level 5-star premium but not quite luxury property. And this one, the Hyatt Regency, it might be my favorite so far. This is definitely a great product for the money that you get. Obviously, there are a couple of things that aren't great. I mean, breakfast was okay. That said, it's a pretty nice one. Anyway, it's time for me to check out and head over to the Andaz Bali. Like I said earlier, I'm probably going to publish that video first, so if you're seeing this and you haven't seen that one, check out the channel. Just go ahead and subscribe, that way you'll see everything that's on there. One thing I was thinking, that if you're going to be in Sanur for a few days, maybe the way to get the best experience for your money would be to spend a couple nights here and then go over and spend a couple nights at the Andaz Bali. The days you spend here, those could be the days that you have plans to go out and do a lot of stuff out and about, and you don't You don't plan to spend that much time at the hotel. And then the days that you do just want to chill out on the property, you could spend over at the Andaz. But obviously at this point I haven't stayed at the Andaz yet, so I'll think about that some more and I'll let you know. Thanks for staying with me till the end.